All right, welcome to the Old Pine Theater live streaming channel. I am here live with Jeff Diamond and Matt Cherokee, and we have a wonderful event this Saturday, January 28th at 7:30 p.m. at the Old Pine Theater. It is part of the Winterfest, Pine Island Winterfest activities. We are actually closing up Winterfest here at the theater, so if you're out enjoying the outdoor activities and you want to get warm, you want to get a nice refreshment, come on down to the Old Pine Theater. It is going to be a Goodwill offering at the door, and then we also are going to have some great raffle items. We've got area businesses and community members that have donated items, and we will have raffle items here as a raffle auction. So we will, be giving away a lot of good things to help support Jeff. Now, Jeff Diamond here on my left is a nationally performing musician. He's actually toured with the Platters. He's toured with other bands, doing backup guitar. Just a great individual. However, Jeff's going to probably talk a little bit about this. During COVID, he did have a COVID medical emergency, and he lost his fingertips. So he has now transitioned to the keyboard. He's still known and will always be known as the Human Jukebox. But that's Jeff Diamond for you. And he has roots here in Minnesota, but he's also lived and performed in Las Vegas. Is that correct, Jeff?
True.
All right.
A lot of places around the country, right.
So here's Jeff Diamond. I'm going to let him kind of talk about his experience, but we will be doing this medical benefit. All the funds brought in on Saturday will be given directly to Jeff. So Jeff, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're all about and who you are and what's brought you to the Old Pine Theater?
Okay. I even get to hold the mic here.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Well, they call me the Human Jukebox for this particular reason, because you never know when I'm performing what you're going to hear. You could hear anything from Frank Sinatra to Bruno Mars to Prince to Bob Dylan. And I might even start singing some Cher or even the Carpenters. But that's just the way it goes. But I started playing guitar. I started on piano first when I was 9 years old, and I transitioned over to guitar. And grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I worked throughout my career. Actually, I had a love for R&B, soul, jazz, that type of genre. So I found myself working with a lot of black groups in the Twin Cities. So I worked with Willie Walker, Herman Jones, Bobby Lyle, Billy Holloman. I was with Dave Brady and the Stars. I had my own group actually called the Convoys, which was back in high school. So, and then again, traveling all over, 3/4 of the way around the world, I've worked all types of venues and from cruise ships off and on, 25 years. And have just done a lot of different things. Been fortunate enough to meet a lot of people, musicians, actors, politicians. Just never know, as far as where you're going to be, and just the circumstances happen to have been right, and just happen to have been at the right place at the right time. I mean, I met you, so yeah. Something going to happen from that, and so I've met people like met Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, Prince I knew way back in the day, Temptations, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. I mean, the list goes on and on. Glenn Campbell, just all kinds of people. But they're doing a benefit for me. Again, I want to thank Ted and Tricia for putting this on for me. Back in July of 2021, July 9th, I got back from Atlanta and got that shot. And the only reason I got this vaccination is I was taking care of my mom. I was her caregiver, and I would have never gotten the shot. I kept putting it off and putting it off. And got the shot July 9th, as I mentioned. And a couple weeks later, I was in a coma. And in my apartment, they had to haul me off to a hospital up in Minneapolis. And it was devastating. They had me on the ventilator with a tube down my throat and everything else that what did go wrong starting from that shot. Started to go downhill very fast. So I got blood clots in my hands and in my arms and in my legs. And woke up about 3 weeks later, and I found I had 8 of my fingers missing. Yeah, amputated my fingers from the blood clots. So 6.5 weeks in the one hospital, then 2 months in a transitional care nursing home. I mean, I couldn't walk. I lost 35 pounds, 40 pounds. And kidney function went down to 0. And just a lot of things. I mean, no balance.
Were you healthy up until that point?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely was. No problems at all. I was in good shape. I mean, I didn't work out, but I mean, I was in good shape for my age. So
this was all just kind of, I mean, I know the doctors maybe did not correlate it specifically to the J&J, vaccine or shot, but this is obviously, if you were in good health and then all of a sudden you got this, and now, you're in a coma, you wake up, your fingertips are gone, that's your livelihood.
Right.
So kind of what's happened since then? I mean, I know you've been on some, podcasts and some other shows, but what's kind of happened since then?
Well, I switched over to playing piano now, and which I started on. So, yeah, and you're right. I just want to get off. I'm glad you transitioned and asked me what was going on, because I really wasn't going to talk too much more about, that. But it's just a devastating thing. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy, really. But what took place? So I'm back on piano, and I'm performing, and I'm doing different types of venues, do singing telegrams, and it's a lot of singing. I might say too, my voice went when I had that breathing tube down my throat or whatever they did. I come to find out they put the wrong tube down my throat. Yeah, they had the tube was too big, and then again I was on that ventilator for way too long. I know many people didn't make it off the ventilator, and I was lucky, that I made it off of it. But I'm still here to tell my story, and but again, so I've been performing, and it's good people like Trish and Ted and some other friends of mine keep me going, think about my music, just think about a lot of things, which keeps me going day to day. But let me cut to the chase here. We got a benefit coming up, and I want to thank again you and your wife for putting this on and donating the theater. And I want to thank the band Audio Tatanka that's going to open for me. I will be here Saturday night, and I will be doing a show probably about an hour and 15 minutes. Want to invite everybody to come down. We're going to have a great time. I got a dance floor. Yeah, dance floor right here. So, and in my show, like I say, I do anything from Johnny Cash to the Temptations to Frank Sinatra to Cher to the Carpenters to Bruno Mars. I mean, I do it all.
Again, you're going to keep the audience alive, I assume.
I'm gonna keep this baby rolling. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. And again, so if you're not got nothing better to do, come on down, join the fun. It's gonna be live streamed. I understand.
Yeah, we'll be live stream on this channel on YouTube, so please check it out.
Right. And again, just want to thank everybody in advance and for whatever. And if you can come down, I'd love to have you. I'd love to meet each and every one of you. So be sure to stop by and say hi.
All right, stay up here, Jeff. But on my right here, we have Matt Cherokee, and he's from the band Tatanka, Audio Tatanka. I'm sorry, I got to get that right. But he's a good friend of mine. He's a disabled vet, and he's got lots of experience, also playing with some pretty big names in the music industry. He's told stories about me. At one point, your parents owned a music store. Is that correct?
They ran the music store. It was owned by the lead guitar player from Halloween.
All right, so there you go. So you see, he's been playing for years. I mean, I would say his go-to instrument is the drums, but this guy can pretty much pick up anything, or I guess not even pick it up. Like if it's a xylophone, he can probably play that too. But he's pretty amazing. I know you've done some videos throughout the years, and it's kind of a good bridge. I mean, we've got Jeff on this side that's obviously had traumatic injury and is dealing with that. And then we also have a disabled vet that, again, has traumatic injury and is dealing with that in his life. So it's kind of neat that we can get these, two guys, these musicians together. And Audio Tatanka has you have 2 other members?
Yeah, 2 other members.
And who are those members?
We have Troy Hertonic on guitar
Okay.
and Mike Tappan on bass. And for this performance, we'll also have Adrian Fisk on vocals as well.
Okay. Well, and what's always interesting to me is how God brings people together, because the way that Jeff came into our life is Brandon Sampson, who actually lives down the street from here, the theater. He's just down the street. Do you know where he? Oh, yeah.
I knew he lived there.
You could go knock on his door.
Oh,
But anyway, yeah, Brandon Sampson actually is another musician, and he plays in a group called 6 Mile Grove. But he's also the founder and operator owner of Limb Lab, which is down in Rochester, but they have sites, I believe. There's 2 other sites in other parts of the country. But
They're in
Scottsdale.
and, yeah, they're Minneapolis, and they're a few more spots too.
Yeah, I think in Florida, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brandon worked with Jeff early on and to try to come up with some, I guess you could say prosthetics for his fingers so that he can actually perform on the guitar. And as Jeff always said, they're wonderfully looking. It's just the functionality of it. They're still kind of trying to figure out how that would work. But again, that's how that all happened. And I've known Brandon for years because he's performed in this theater, and I know his other band members as well. So it's one of those things where you kind of, people walk into your life, and it's great. And we try to help, anyone. The other thing we didn't talk about today is that the theater was closed during COVID. But the other thing you got to understand is these musicians were pretty much closed during COVID, because for that 12-month period, when they wouldn't let us gather in open spaces like this, there was really no options other than being online or maybe doing a singing telegram, or maybe some of the outdoor stuff. I know some musicians were doing some, backyard parties or driveway parties, but they were just trying to keep their craft going. I mean, it is about money. Obviously it affected all of us, but it also is about them being able to spin their craft. Because if you're all of a sudden told, oh, don't go out and socialize with people, and that's your livelihood, but that's also what makes you whole, you're kind of not able to do that anymore. So again, by having this medical benefit, we're kind of not only helping out Jeff financially, but hopefully mentally too, because he's able to get out there and talk to all these people and build those relationships and keep those audience alive, basically. And then Matt, again, I'll let Matt talk a little bit about his experience and kind of what he thinks he wants to get out of, this weekend. This is the first time Audio Tatanka has played at the theater, but they are just donating all their time and their energy to this specific event. So Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Matt Cherokee. I play drums for Audio Tatanka. We cover songs from the 1960s on up. Some of the hits that we cover are probably tunes that Jeff played on. They're from an era when he started gaining some momentum with his music career. And it's an honor to be able to come and volunteer some time and open up for somebody that's as well known as Jeff and who's been playing music for that long. My background with music is I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My parents were roadies for Ted Nugent, Humble Pie, MC5. There's a band called Halloween that's really big in Michigan and Europe. They're known as the Detroit's heavy metal horror show. That's that Halloween band that they worked for. So, I had a lot of really neat musical experiences as a kid. I got to play a gig with Babby Mason. I was the first drummer that Jay White had. He's a touring jazz musician. I worked for the President's Own Marine Band. I've played music all over the world, entertained troops, and now I'm here in Minnesota, and it's kind of nice to be able to come play at my friend's theater. Looking forward to it. I was telling Jeff earlier that music picks up where words leave off, and when you've been doing music long enough and you come across other people that have done music long enough, there's kind of an understanding there, and you kind of kindred spirits in that a little bit, and it's always nice to be able to help out another musician, especially one that has some superior musical skills in that. So that's my background. That's what I'm up to. That's what we're here for. I'm hoping a lot of people show up. This is for a really good cause, and it's a lot of fun. Good, clean music. Definitely something all ages can come and enjoy. which is important to me. I've always told every band I've ever played in, make sure the music's clean because then the kids can enjoy it. And that's part of why I am where I am now is I got exposed to good music as a little kid, and it stuck. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Matt. And as Matt pointed out, I mean, this is a family venue. It's a family-owned and operated business, but we've always catered to families. I mean, that's what we're about. We do all ages concerts. We want families to come out and experience music. But not only music, the performing arts. I mean, we do comedy, we do improv, we do live theater here. We do medical benefits, obviously. But really, we're just about family and really bringing that to Pine Island, but also to southern Minnesota. I mean, we pull from Minneapolis, we pull from Rochester, we pull from Austin, Albert Lee, Red Wing. We have lots of people that come from all over southern Minnesota, and then some people that drive in from up north and get a hotel room just for shows. So we do want as many people and as many faces, new faces, old faces, regular customers that haven't been here since COVID, to come out, enjoy the night with Jeff Diamond and Audio Tatanka. We do have a dance floor that will be open for you to dance and enjoy. We also are going to have raffle auction items. So again, we have a lot of donated gifts from community members and businesses that we will have here for you to basically put raffle tickets in, and then we will auction them off at the end of the night. It is a goodwill donation, so the event is free, but we'd like you to give some money to Jeff, because all that money is going to Jeff Diamond, and all the money we bring in from the auction items will go again to Jeff Diamond. So I want to thank all those businesses that have supported the Old Pine Theater in the years, but also the ones that have donated for this event. And we also want to thank all the community members that have donated for this event. And we just ask that you come out, and if you're not able to come out, come to this live stream on the YouTube channel, this Old Pine Theater YouTube channel. We will be live streaming this event at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. And we will also have a PayPal button on there, and you can donate directly to Jeff Diamond. And then there's also going to be a PayPal button on Facebook page, a PayPal button on our oldpinetheater.com page. So again, we just want you to share this event with your friends, your family. You can share it with people all over the nation or the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to see somebody in Argentina or Australia watching Jeff Diamond, spin his craft. So we just want to thank everyone that's involved in this medical benefit. We also have Matt Fiskus, who's back on our sound booth. He's actually running our camera feed right now. But Matt will be doing all the lights. We've got, great lights here at the theater now. We also obviously have these high-def cameras. So we've got different views. You're not only going to be seeing this view, but we can pan, tilt, zoom, and we've got 3 different views of the theater. So if you can't make it that night, go online. Watch it from the comfort of your couch. And then if you can, go ahead and contribute to Jeff. Now, is there anything else you'd like to say, Jeff, in closing?
I was just wondering if, you mentioned on YouTube, excuse me, can this be streamed over Facebook as well, or not? Can you do a live?
Matt, we can do both, right? Yeah, so we will do both. We will have it live streamed on Facebook and also live streamed on to our YouTube. So if, do you have a Facebook page as well?
I do.
Okay, you would probably have to share it from our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Or you could even go to YouTube and share it from
I have a
YouTube.
YouTube channel, too.
Yep. Or you could also go to oldpinetheater.com and just grab that link and throw it on your Facebook page.
Do that, too.
But that's the other thing that any of you can do. If you want to, if you're not able to be here and you're not able to contribute that way, sharing is caring. So you can always share that link, share it on your Facebook page, and say, hey, they're doing a medical benefit at the Old Pine Theater. We'd really like anyone and everyone to be able to, donate and give back to this cause. And Matt Cherokee, do you have anything to close on?
If you're not here, you're going to be somewhere less cool. So feel free to show up. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you all out there in YouTube land and Facebook, and we will see you this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Old Pine Theater.